Chapter 5. Josh and Ruth Rose stared at Dink. "Honest," Dink said. "But why?" Ruth Rose asked. "Since the hotel is almost empty, he said we'd be doing him a favor," Dink said. "If people see us here, they might think the ghost was a joke." "Let's do it," said Josh. "I need a night away from the twins." Dink grinned. "Mr. Spivets invited our families, too. And he wants us to investigate the ghost while we're there." Josh laughed. "When my little brothers get here, that ghost better watch out." By supper time, it was all arranged. The three families would spend the night at the Shangri-La. Ruth Rose's little brother, Nate, wanted to meet the ghost. "He'll be my friend," Nate said. "We can play with my dinosaurs together." Dink's family and Ruth Rose's family rode together in one car. The Pintos' car was already in the parking lot when they arrived. Josh was holding on to his twin brothers, Brian and Bradley. The boys hugged twin teddy bears. After locking the cars, all 12 of them trooped into the Shangri-La. Mr. and Mrs. Spivets were waiting in the lobby. They were all dressed up as if it was a special occasion. "Good evening, all," Mr. Spivets said. "Welcome to the Shangri-La." The adults shook hands. "This is very nice of you," Dink's mom told them. Mrs. Spivets smiled at the kids. "It's the least we can do. These 3 detectives are going to help us get to the bottom of this ghost business tonight." Dink's father grinned. "As long as they do it before bedtime." "Dad," Dink said, rolling his eyes. Just then, Mr. Linkletter joined them. "Where's Casper?" Nate asked him. "I want to see the ghost." Mr. Linkletter blinked at Nate, and then handed room keys to Dink, Josh, and Ruth Rose. "I think you'll find these rooms comfortable," he said. "I had rollaway beds brought in for the little ones." Dink led them all to the elevator. "What number do you guys have?" Josh asked. "We're in room 203. "I'm across the hall," Ruth Rose said, "in 204. "Me too," Dink said. 202. 5 minutes later, all 3 families were in their rooms. Dink dumped his backpack on a narrow rollaway bed. The room was pretty big, with a color TV and a miniature refrigerator. Dink opened the door and found a bunch of soft drinks and snacks. "Can we eat this stuff?" Dink asked. His father gave him a look. "You just finished supper, Dinko." Dink grinned. "Yeah, I know. How late can I stay up?" 9 o'clock, his mother said. "Remember, tomorrow is Monday." "Mom, tomorrow's Columbus Day," Dink said, grinning. "No school." "Okay, 10 o'clock, but not a minute later." Dink left the room and knocked on Josh's door. "Come in," yelled one of the twins. Dink opened the door. The Pintos' room was even bigger than his. 3 small beds were lined up opposite one big one. Brian and Bradley wore matching Batman jammies and were coloring in their coloring books. Josh was standing in front of their little fridge, tossing down peanuts. "Can Josh come out and play?" Dink said, grinning. Josh's dad said, "Sure, just be back by breakfast time." Josh laughed. "Let's get Ruth Rose," he said to Dink. They walked to room 204 and knocked. Ruth Rose opened the door and stepped out. "My folks are trying to get Nate to go to bed," she whispered. "Let's go down to the lobby and think of a plan," Dink suggested. "I already have one," Ruth Rose announced. "You do?" Dink said. Ruth Rose nodded. "Mr. Linkletter told us the ghost showed up at midnight, right?" "Mr. and Mrs. Jeffers said the same thing." Josh snorted. "So what's your plan? To hang out and say hi to the ghost when the clock strikes 12? Ruth Rose grinned. "Exactly."